Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Aah Wardah Qanaah, and in this time I want to uh, explain the presentation about cognitivism in second language acquisition. So this is the introduction. Language forms the bedrock of human communication, a tool used not just for expressing thoughts but also for constructing one's understanding of the world. While the babbling choose and babbling is of infants gradually morph into coherent sentences, signaling the remarkable journey of first language acquisition. The path of acquiring a second language, especially in later years, is laden with its unique set of challenges and wonders. The entry point for all language teaching should be an understanding of how people learn, but as a matter of fact, the learning factors are the last to be considered. In the past, the research only focused on the language analysis and learning factors, were to a large extent still ignored. Only after the language systemization has been done, learning factors were incorporated in the domain of language teaching and learning in the 16th century. Comenius 1592 until 1670. A Czech theologian and educator conducted empirical observations in language learning and some guidelines for the direct method at the end of 19th century, stern 1983. So, this is cognitive process in second language learning. The intricacies of the human mind play a pivotal role in the process of acquiring a second language. One of the fundamental components is the memory system. Our brain, in its vast complexity, employs two distinct memory types during language acquisition. Initially, short-term memory acts as a transient repository for a new vocabulary and grammatical structures. Is is okay to a scribble pad where learners jot down novel linguistic elements. However, for these newly learned facets to truly be ingrained, they must transition to the long-term memory. So, this is the first and second language. When we talk about language teaching or learning, we should be familiar with the terms such as first language, second language, foreign language, mother tongue, and bilingual. Those terms are sometimes ambiguous and confusing, even for some language practitioners. In this regard, Stern 1983 9 makes a tabulation of the two sets of terms as follows. First language and second language. First language, native language, mother tongue, primary language, and stronger language. So then, second language, non-native language, foreign language, secondary language, and weaker language. The nature of language. Issues of the nature of language is quite abundant to explore and to discuss, especially the aspects which are closely related to the first language acquisition. The role of the child. To elaborate the issues of the child's role in the first language acquisition, covering the questions whether the child becomes active or passive receiver of the teaching from adults, or whether there is an innate linguistic knowledge. The role of the environment. The third component of language acquisition, which contributes to the children's cognitive competence, is both social and linguistic environment. Social environment is a setting where the children are nurtured and learning about the world. Next, theoretical models. There are three theoretical models. The first is behaviorist model. The model was very popular in the 40s and 50s owing to the work of Ivan Pavlov, B.F. Skinner, John Watson, and Edward Thorndike. It is also related to the empiricist school due to its concern with the physical and the observable. The second model is the innatist model. This model is also known as nativist mentalism or rationalism. In this model, language is seen not as a behavior learned through imitation and conditioning, but is rule-based and generative in nature, process and produce through complicated cognitive process and mechanism. The third model is the interactionist model. This model is closely related to Vygotsky's zone proximal development, which is defined as the distance between a child's current state of cognitive capacity and the level of potential development. In other words, it is what the child can manage on his or her own compared with what they can only manage with assistance from adults. Next, second language acquisition. So, the first is behaviorism and SLA. There is no significant difference between the behaviorist model applied in first language and second language learning. The same principles are still used in second language learning, such as imitation, practice, reinforcement, or feedback, and habit formation following a stimulus response model. Next, innatism and second language acquisition. Similar to the behaviorist model, the principles of innatist model for first language acquisition and second language acquisition are basically the same in this model. There is an innate mental capacity for language learning which is different from other learning. Language learning is based on discovering the underlying abstract representation for rules of the specific language from among all possible rules of language universally. Next, interactionism and second language acquisition. Interactionist model is closely related to the views of sociolinguistic and language use for communication. Second language acquisition for adolescents over 20 years plus pays attention to the interaction between second language learners and native speakers. So, this is concepts of language learning. Language in psychology. Language has always played a certain role in the history of psychology. According to Stern 1983 to 191, psychology can be defined as the science of the mental life and behavior of the individual. Psychology studies the behavior, activities, conduct, and mental process. Next, the psychology of learning. Learning has been approached in two main ways. The first through theoretical and experimental studies, and the second through empirical studies in education setting. The two together constitute the psychology of learning. So this is the theoretical and experimental study of learning. This school of thought can be divided into two groups. The first, deriving from the British Associationist School of Philosophy, Hobbes, Locke, Berkeley, and Hume, refers a largely environmentalist view of man. A further development of this school can be found in Pavlov's studies of conditioning, Watson's behaviorism, Thorndike's connectionism, and Skinner's operant conditioning. So, this is the empirical study of learning in education settings. Besides theoretical and experimental study of learning problems from the applied side of in practical learning situations have also been investigated. For instance, the learning school subjects, heading, uh, especially reading and mathematics, the learning problems of children with educational or emotional difficulties, questions of work training in industry, problems of rehabilitation and re-education of individuals requiring remedial treatment, and the theory of program instruction, and then some implications of the cognitive theories. Problem-based learning. This activity is based on the problem exposure. The student conducts the research based on theories, concepts, various scientific principles first, He or she identifies the problem, collects the data, and analyzes the data. Finally, he or she should draw a conclusion or conclusions. Next, discovery learning. This activity is aimed to develop a research competence and to improve the learner's appreciation towards science. It would rather focus on the learning process than the learning product. In addition, discovery learning is designed to increase the students' learning skills, including how to ask questions and how to evaluate strategies. Last, cognitive strategies. Cognitive strategies are one type of learning strategy that learners use in order to learn more successfully. These include repetition, organizing new language, summarizing meaning, judging meaning from context, using imagery for memorization. Next, linguistic mechanism at play. So, there are three linguistic mechanisms. The first is phonological awareness. Phonological awareness refers to the ability to recognize and manipulate the sound structures of a language. It's a critical cognitive skill, foundational to the process of reading and understanding the nuance of language pronunciation. Next, morphological and syntactical understanding. Morphology, at its core, is the study of the internal structure of words and how they can be modified. In English, this can manifest in various ways. For instance, we have the addition of suffix like ing or ed to denote different tenses. Example, run becoming running or ran. Next, pragmatic skills. Pragmatic refers to the realm of social and cultural norms that guide how language is used in various contexts. It encompasses the unwritten rules of communication that native speakers intuitively understand. For instance, the way one might greet a close friend differs significantly from how one would address a senior colleague or a stranger. So, the next is strategies to enhance second language acquisition. Immersion, a catalyst for proficient English language acquisition. So, there are four strategies to enhance second language acquisition. The first is regular practice. The second is real world application. The third is cultural understanding. And the fourth or the last is instant feedback. Next, leveraging technology and metacognition for optimal language learning. In the modern era, the confluence of technology and metacognitive techniques offers a promising avenue for enhancing second language acquisition. On the technological front, language learning apps, online courses, and virtual exchange have revolutionized the way we approach language studies. These platforms not only provide the flexibility of learning at one's own pace, but also offer personalization, catering to individual learning styles and preference. So, this is the references and thank you. So, that's all my presentation about cognitivism in second language acquisition. Thank you very much for watching this video until the end and forgive me if I have some mistake. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.